Evil hides well. It operates in shadows, behind smiles, beneath false kindness. But eventually, you see through it. You see the lies, the manipulation, the cruelty hidden beneath polite words and friendly faces. And when evil people know that you know, they change. They react. They double down on their behavior, not out of strength, but out of fear. Fear of exposure. Fear of losing control. The Stoics taught us to observe people calmly, without judgment clouding our reason. Marcus Aurelius warned, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice." This is not about revenge. It is about wisdom, awareness, protection. Here are 7 things evil people do when they know that you know. Watch carefully. Remain calm. Respond with reason, not emotion. That is the Stoic way. They pretend nothing ever happened. The first tactic evil people will use, once they realize you've seen through them, is to pretend nothing ever happened. This is not ignorance. It is deliberate. It is calculated. They speak to you as if yesterday's betrayal never existed, as if their lies have no weight, as if the harm they caused has vanished into thin air. Their tone is light. Their words are casual. Their behavior carefully mirrors how they treated you before, because in their mind, this is their best weapon: denial through normalcy. They seek to erase your clarity by acting as though there is no problem at all. Why do they do this? Because pretending is their shield. It's their way of gaslighting you without ever having to utter the words. If they carry on as usual, if they smile, if they make small talk, if they treat you with an air of casual familiarity, they hope you'll begin to doubt yourself. They want to make you second-guess your own judgment. Maybe it wasn't that bad. Maybe I misunderstood. Maybe they didn't mean it. This is their strategy, not through confrontation, but through subtle confusion. If they can weaken your perception of reality, they regain control, not through force, but through your own uncertainty. Seneca wisely reminds us, "A wise man is never deceived." You must stay vigilant. Do not confuse their calm, polite behavior with innocence or good intent. Evil rarely announces itself with aggression. More often, it hides behind smiles, behind routine, behind forced normality. Your awareness threatens them. Your clarity exposes their mask. So they pretend, hoping you'll choose peace over truth, comfort over confrontation. But you must see through the act. Let them play their tired game. You no longer need to engage. You no longer need to explain yourself or demand acknowledgement. Your power now comes from quiet observation, calm distance, and firm boundaries. Do not match their energy. Do not follow their script. Simply step outside of it. Recognize the tactic. Recognize their fear of exposure, and carry on, stronger, wiser, untouched by their charade. 2. They try to charm you again. When denial no longer works, when you remain firm, when you don't fall for their false sense of normalcy, evil people shift to their next tactic, charm. Suddenly they become more attentive, more complimentary, more generous with their words and gestures. Where there was distance, they offer warmth. Where there was silence, they now speak with interest. It's not genuine. It's never genuine. This charm is nothing more than strategy, a manipulation dressed up in kindness. They flatter not because they respect you, but because they want something from you, your trust back, your forgiveness without accountability, your silence in the face of their wrong. They sense that you've built a wall, that you've begun pulling away. That threatens them. Evil cannot survive without access to your mind, your heart, your attention. So they try to lure you back in. They present themselves as changed, as reflective, as someone who cares. But caring is not words. Caring is not smiles. Caring is demonstrated through consistent action. A person who harms you and immediately turns to flattery is not sorry. They are strategic. They are testing you. They are wondering if the door is still open, if you can still be softened, if your clarity can still be undone by a kind word. Epictetus warns us, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Your reaction now is critical. Do not be seduced by surface-level kindness. Observe the patterns beneath. Look at the history, not the sudden gestures. The Stoic does not fall for charm because the Stoic understands human nature. People reveal themselves in patterns, not in moments. A single compliment cannot erase a history of deceit. A friendly invitation cannot overwrite betrayal. So stay calm, stay cautious. Accept kindness, but trust slowly. Evil wears many faces. Today, it smiles. Tomorrow, it deceives again. That is its nature. Do not match their friendliness with trust. Match it with boundaries, quiet, stillness. Let them wonder if you've truly moved on, because you have. Their charm is no longer enough to reach you. 3. They spread lies about you. Once evil people understand that charm has failed, that you are no longer falling for their smiles, their flattery, or their fake kindness, they escalate to something far more destructive. They begin to spread lies about you. This is one of their oldest and most effective weapons. If they cannot control you directly anymore, they will attempt to control how others see you. They twist your words, distort your actions, and invent narratives that cast themselves as innocent and you as the villain. They plant seeds of doubt in the minds of those around you, hoping those seeds will grow into isolation, suspicion, and distrust. Why? Because reputation is power. Influence is power. And when they lose influence over you, they seek to destroy your standing elsewhere. Evil people are driven by pride and control. The idea that you see them clearly, and worse, that you might reveal their true nature to others, terrifies them. So they go on the offensive. They speak in whispers. They drop carefully chosen words into conversations. They create half-truths designed to sound believable. And often they succeed. Not because the lies are brilliant, but because people are quick to believe what flatters their existing biases or satisfies their curiosity. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Time is like a river of passing events, and strong is its current. No sooner is a thing brought to sight than it is swept by, and another takes its place." Do not be consumed by the lies. Do not waste your energy defending yourself to those who choose to listen to gossip. Let people talk. Let them believe what they want. In time, truth reveals itself through consistency, through calmness, through the steady strength of your character. Understand this. Those who are quick to believe rumors about you were never truly on your side. Those who value you will come to you directly. Those who don't will fade away. And in this, you lose nothing of value. Remain composed. Let your actions speak louder than your defense. In the end, those who live by lies entrap themselves in them. You do not need to respond to every falsehood. You simply need to continue forward, unshaken, untouched by their noise. This is how the Stoic triumphs, not through arguments, but through unwavering integrity. 4. They play the victim. When their lies begin to unravel, When people start to question their stories, evil people turn to one of the most manipulative strategies of all. They play the victim. Suddenly, the person who hurt you transforms into someone who claims they have been hurt. They speak with wounded tones. They tell selective, one-sided stories. They gather sympathy, not through truth, but through distortion. They position themselves as the misunderstood, the attacked, the betrayed. And they craft this narrative carefully, weaving just enough reality into it to make it sound believable to those who are eager to side with weakness disguised as innocence. Why do they do this? Because victimhood shields them from accountability. If they can convince others that you are the aggressor, that you've wronged them unfairly, they no longer have to answer for their actions. They no longer need to explain the harm they caused, because now, in their version of the story, they are the ones who have been harmed. They weaponize sympathy. They recruit allies not through honesty, but through emotional manipulation. Tears replace apologies. Self-pity replaces responsibility. They are not seeking reconciliation. They are seeking protection, and the pity of others becomes their defense. Seneca warned us, "He who does wrong is more wretched than he who suffers it." Do not allow yourself to be drawn into their drama. Do not feel the need to explain yourself to those who eagerly listen to half-truths and ignore your silence. Let those who want to believe the victim narrative do so. Time will separate truth from performance. True character cannot be faked forever. Those who pretend to suffer will eventually reveal the emptiness beneath their words. Remain silent. Remain calm. Let their accusations pass like storms over steady mountains. You gain nothing by defending yourself to the crowd. You gain everything by remaining grounded, letting your life speak louder than their fabrications. The Stoic knows. Truth needs no performance. It only needs patience. 5. They try to intimidate you. When charm fails, lies unravel, and victimhood no longer works, evil people often resort to intimidation. But this intimidation is rarely loud or overt. Instead, it is subtle, calculated. A cold stare that lingers a moment too long, a voice that drops just enough to send a chill, a casual warning disguised as concern or advice. These actions are meant to unsettle you, to make you doubt yourself, to remind you that they still hold power over your peace of mind. Their goal is not confrontation, it is control through fear. They want to silence you, to keep you from speaking out or standing firm. This quiet menace reveals their true weakness. Evil fears exposure, and when all else fails, it resorts to shadows and threats. But the Stoic understands this tactic for what it is, a desperate attempt to impose control where none exists. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Their threats have no real power unless you grant them the authority to affect your inner calm. Intimidation seeks to provoke a reaction, anger, fear, or withdrawal. But the Stoic responds not with aggression, but with unshakable composure. When you refuse to flinch or engage in their games, their power fades. The cold stares become empty, the warnings hollow. Your mind remains your own fortress, untouchable by their attempts at domination. Remember, strength is not measured by how loudly you push back, but by how calmly you stand your ground. The true victory over intimidation is silence and steadiness, a quiet, unwavering presence that says, without words, "I am not afraid." This is the power that evil cannot break. 6. They try to involve others against you. When evil people realize they cannot manipulate you directly anymore, they often turn to a more insidious tactic. They try to gather others against you. They whisper behind your back, planting doubts and distortions in the minds of those around you, friends, colleagues, even family. This is not coincidence. It is calculated strategy. They know that isolating you weakens your position. The fewer people who trust you, the easier it becomes to undermine your reputation and influence. They seek to build alliances of convenience, recruiting those who may be unaware of the full truth, or who are tempted by gossip, fear, or simple loyalty to the loudest voice. These alliances aren't based on genuine connection or respect, but on misinformation and manipulation. The aims to create divisions, to poison relationships, and to make you feel alone in your struggle. They want you to question who you can trust, to feel surrounded and outnumbered. But the Stoic understands that true strength comes from within, not from the approval of others. Epictetus taught, "Seek not that events should happen as you will, but will events to happen as they do." Let others choose their alliances. Let them align with falsehood and fear if they wish. Your integrity does not depend on their support. It depends on your own reasoned judgment and steady character. Remember, those who turn against you under false pretenses reveal more about themselves than about you. Their choice to follow deception is their burden, not yours. The Stoic walks alone if necessary, confident that solitude does not mean weakness, but freedom. Freedom from the chaos of manipulation. Freedom to stand firm in truth, regardless of how many stand beside or against you. This is where real power lives, in unshakable self-reliance. 7. They disappear, only to return later. When all other tactics have been exhausted, when denial, charm, lies, victimhood, intimidation, and alliances have failed, evil often resorts to silence. They disappear from your life completely. They retreat into the shadows, hoping their absence will erase the memories of what happened. They bet on time to dull your clarity, to soften your resolve, and to make you forget the pain or the betrayal they caused. This disappearance is not surrender. It is a strategic pause, a way to regroup, gather strength, and test the waters from a distance. Because, inevitably, many of these people return. Months later, perhaps years, they reach out as if nothing ever happened. They send a casual message, a friendly greeting, or an innocent question. Their goal is to reopen a door they hoped you had closed forever, to gauge if you have weakened, if you have forgiven without conditions, if you can be drawn back into their orbit. But the Stoic understands that true strength comes from within.
Marcus Aurelius teaches us, do not waste time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one. Do not waste your energy entertaining their return. People reveal themselves by their actions over time, not by their sudden appearances. When they disappear without explanation, it shows where their priorities truly lie. When they return without accountability, it shows what they expect from you: forgiveness without change, access without trust. The Stoic understands that peace is more valuable than a reopened wound. You do not owe those who harmed you a second chance to do the same. Your clarity is your shield. Your boundaries are your sanctuary. Do not reopen the door just because it is offered. Walk away quietly, firmly, and without regret. This is the true mastery of self, the strength to let go, to protect your peace, and to choose your company wisely. In silence, you find freedom. In distance, you find strength. Evil people do not fear kindness. They fear clarity. They fear those who see without illusion, those who cannot be charmed, manipulated, or broken. The Stoics understood this well. Your greatest protection is not anger. It is understanding. Not revenge, but boundaries. Not loud confrontation, but quiet, consistent strength. You cannot control how others behave, but you can control how you respond. Remain calm, remain wise, remain free. Subscribe for more Stoic wisdom. Reflect, protect your peace, walk away in silence, but with strength.